Bonafide Hustler here. I'm going to show you that bike that sold for 600 bucks that I bought for 100 bucks. What's going on, guys? This is Chris the Bonafide Hustler coming to you live from my garage. It's a beautiful night outside, but it is kind of cold, so that's why we're in here. Anyway, I'm going to show you the bike behind me today. And this bike's extremely rare. Hard to find, but I want to bring it to you guys' attention, much like the vintage BMX kind of stuff, because you never know when you'll come across something like this. Now, the bike behind me, first of all, I bought 3 years ago, and I had all the intentions to restore this thing, but then hustling got so good for me and so lucrative that I kind of just lost my ways with building up this bike. I restored it a tiny bit, right? I might have put 2 hours into this bike, but it's extremely cool, it's rare, and it comes from 1972. But let me preface the story with the fact that the bike behind me, first of all, is what's called a Schwinn Orange Crate. And a Schwinn Orange Crate is one of the most collectible Schwinn bikes that you can find right now, besides like a Phantom or a Jaguar or some of those other bikes that they make. A Schwinn Orange Crate is one of the pinnacle bikes of their wheelie bike era. Specifically, 1963 is when they started coming out with these wheelie bikes, and they were really popular in 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. Anyway, they have really interesting characteristics about them, such as a really big wheel in the back and a small wheel in the front. Muscle bikes also usually had, wheelie muscle bikes, whatever you want to call them, had banana-type seats in the back as well. So they're really cool. So check out some of these close-ups while I talk to you about this bike, and you can see some of the interesting characteristics about it with me. They had several models back then that were very popular too, but the Orange Crate is one of the pinnacle ones you want to look for. They had one called the Gray Ghost, Pea Picker, they had one called the Lemon Peeler, and they all were different colors, some green ones, some gray ones, some yellow ones, and some candy apple red ones. It's just beautiful bikes, and they're out there, and they're still out there, and a lot of people, don't know what they have, and they just unload them, and you can make some big money on these things, especially if you find them in much better condition than this one's in. But this one's in okay condition. I started working on this back half right here, and then progressively went to the front. But anyway, let me show you some of the cool stuff about it. First of all, the banana seat, extremely expensive. An NOS, new old stock banana seat for this bike, if you just wanted to replace it, it's going to run you about $200 to $250. That's just insane. They had gears typically that were controlled by the Schwinn stick shift right here. Now this part right here, I've seen go as high as 275 bucks on eBay, the Schwinn stick shift. So it's an amazing bike in its form. And it also has a Springer front fork to a drum brake front, right? It was running on drum brakes, this bike. What the hell's going on? So it's really cool. And then of course you got these really cool kind of like chopper style handlebars. So that is pretty much what a wheelie bike looked like back in the late 60s and early 70s. And all the kids wanted this thing. They were all the rage. So anyway, of course, it's all steel frame. It's beautiful. In the crappiest of conditions, they still pull huge amounts of money, and in the best of conditions, they pull solid $1,200 to $1,500 all day long. So be on the lookout for these bikes. They're really neat. And yeah, the defining characteristics of these, they've actually remade them in the past 3 years. So don't look for those, but a lot of times look for the ones that have the stick shifter. When they did the remake and the more current ones, they don't have this part in them, okay? So that's one of the defining things. Hell, if you even find this thing laying around in someone's shed in a box somewhere and you don't know what it is and it looks like a gear shifter and it says Schwinn stick shift, buy that piece and lowball that dude, I guess, So there's some interesting things that are worth a ton of money. Springer fork, and this is probably the most expensive part of this entire bike besides the seat. So anyway, yeah, that's the cool bike find of 3 years ago, and I'm flipping it now. What great appreciation, right? I mean, I buy it really low, and I'm able to sell it for 600 bucks. I'm super happy about it. It's going to suck to see it go because it's going to be really hard to find it, but again, and this is the most rare of all of them. A lot of people want the Orange Crate. So, yeah, it's going to suck to see it go. But I did want to show it to you guys. And tell me what you think of this bike, right? And on top of that, when you see this video, take a look on eBay at Schwinn Vintage Stingray bikes. and get educated with the colors and what to start looking for, and of course start looking for these defining pieces of this bike. Now, after this bike came out, a lot of people tried to jump on the trend per se, right? And so they started making all these bikes that look very similar. So if I were you, only look for those Schwinn ones. Those are like the solid hits. And I've seen some here and there at bike swap meets, right, for like $300 and this and that. But some didn't have this part, and so you gotta look around and just stay educated out there. And I'd say if you can get into one of these bikes for 200 below, or maybe 250 and below, I'd say it's a solid bet that you can make some money on it. So if you do like my videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you think of this cool orange crate. And yeah, $100 flipped into $600. It's really cool. Yeah, I think anybody can do this. You just got to know what to look for, all right? So, hope you liked the video. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.